right. I will be your host for tonight, and I am excited to see you guys joining. We're going to give a few minutes for everyone else that is joining, but feel free to explore the space, the stage. Hey, Cav, how's it going? The space with a few updates, and we're going to start the event very soon. And if you just stumbled here and you don't know what's going on, this is the Sunken Blimp Stage. We do events here every Wednesday, and every week is a different topic or a different speaker talking about themselves, their projects. We're going to go through what a dive live is, which is the presentation. And today's the kickoff event of a new series on the theme of biophilia. And Kev, I hope you're excited for this. And
certainly am.
Yeah, we got a pretty sick lineup. Super excited for the speakers that are going to be presenting this month. For those that don't know what biophilia is, well, trying to explain in short words is anything in terms of design and production creation that is inspired by nature, designed by nature or for nature. There's so many different versions of this and applications for this. And anyway, it's going to be a super cool topic. We have people from professors in big universities in the United States to companies that are doing incredible work like Terraform. If you guys know who they are, you probably know the work. And yeah, super excited. So, feel free to explore the space. We're going to start in a few minutes. So hello everyone. If you guys can hear me, if you can start making your way to the center stage upstairs, feel free to join us here. We're gonna start we're gonna start now. So if you're new to spatial and you're learning how to walk around, move around, you can always, if you're using a computer, you can use the W, A, S, and D keys to move around. You can use your mouse. Feel free to find yourself a nice little Oreo to sit on. We share a couple of images with the community, as someone mentioned that it looked like an Oreo, so I guess we're gonna adapt that. Pick your Oreo. Amanda, I think, are you having issues with sitting in an Oreo? If you have issues, let us know. We might be able to help. So welcome everyone. For those that don't know me, my name is Matthias. I'm one of the co-founders of Sunken Blimp, and you are right now on the Sunken Blimp Stage. Hello. If you haven't been to the Sunken Blimp Stage before, this is the virtual venue where we host different presentations with different sorts of speakers and themes on basically any type of subject that you can imagine. Every week we invite a new speaker to host what we call a dive live. And in a dive live, the speaker has about 20 to 30 minutes to present their project, their philosophy of life, themselves, whatever they want to. And as of recently, we started making dive live series, which means that there's a specific topic, and within that series, all of the speakers in that same topic present each week their own project. So if you're new here, you haven't seen a dive live, welcome. Today's an unorthodox type of dive live because we don't have an external speaker, but we're gonna be kicking off and presenting the next lineup of speakers, which is actually pretty cool. We're all super excited. We've updated the stage, so if you've been here before, you probably noticed that there are a lot of changes. I would like to introduce you guys Ray the Stingray, and he's flying around. And I actually wanted to bring a Stingray to the stage because this stage itself was inspired. The design and the curves of this stage was inspired by a stingray and whale skeletons. And you might think, well, okay, like where is the correlation? But if you really look at how the wings move and up and down, a lot of the curvature, especially like this right here, was inspired looking at some of these natural forms that you find in stingrays and whales. And I would like to bring that because the topic that we're having next is the theme of biophilia. And for those that don't know, biophilia, it's a term used in design, architecture, and art. When you get inspiration from nature, you're using nature, or you're designing for nature somehow. And there's so many different applications. I was even mentioning before we started, so many versions of what biophilia is. People have different opinions in architecture, design, art. And that's why we wanted to bring this topic that is so general. Nature and design is anything could be it. And we have amazing speakers. And before we dive into the actual lineup, I would like to walk you guys through the process of dive lives and how we started, because this has been an incredible journey so far. And we are now in October, and we started this in February this year. And the first one was actually March 2022. And I would like to bring this video, which showcases the very first dive live. In March of this year, me from Sunken Blimp, together with a couple of colleagues, we were visiting the exhibition in Dubai, the Dubai Expo 2020. And for those that don't know, basically every country comes together, each country builds a pavilion showcasing their technology, all of that. And within this, we actually reached out to another colleague of ours, Mariana Cabuguera. She used to work at Zaha Did Architecture, which is a pretty incredible architecture firm. And we asked her, hey, would you like to come to a virtual stage and present your work to us? Present to a community of people, we'll invite people. And this is an actual footage recorded by Rishab of, us in an office space in Dubai, just in VR headsets, having this very first meeting that kind of set a precedent for how dive lives would be. And from there, we've had an amazing collection of different speakers. So far, we are at, I believe, 25 presentations with an incredible collection. And all of these were hosted in this stage, in different versions of this stage, but in this stage. And the cool thing about virtual presentations is that we're not bound by the limitations of the physical world, right? I just clapped confetti. This is one example by accident. But we are able to bring in 3D models, bring different videos, scale them up, bring them around, things that, we can really explore how to do a presentation, and that's what excites us, right? So whenever we meet a different speaker and present this idea, which is kind of crazy, hey, would you like to devote an hour of your life to come and present something on a virtual stage? People get excited because it's a different way of showing their own work. And then from there, this was the presentation that Mariana hosted on stage, and you can see that the stage was very different. But this was her first try, just, hey, let's fill a room with people, put Mariana there with a slideshow and see what happens. And that was the first time we actually, had a dive live. You look at spatial. People didn't have legs and the characters looked low-key scary. Even, the platform itself has come a long way. And this, in a way, like I said, set a precedent, and so many things happen after that. And because we're not in a physical location, I would actually like to ask you guys to follow me, because you don't have, there's no physical effort. And I'd like to show a little gallery Hall of Fame exhibition that we put together with all of the different speakers. So if you guys would like to follow me, get out of your Oreos. So I'm currently downstairs if anyone missed where I went. And there's a big sign that says Dive Live Speakers Hall of Fame. And if you were exploring around, you probably already saw this. But here we put every single flyer from the speakers that we've had so far this year, which is a pretty, nice collection of people. Super exciting. If you guys were not there during those presentations, it's a bummer because, there's nothing like the actual thing. But we do have recordings of those on our website, so you're more than welcome. If you join our Discord, also, we have a list of the different presentations that you can watch. But we've had, Mariana, the first one, she is... Oh, gosh. I missed where Mariana is. There it is. Thank you, Camilo. So Mariana was the first one talking about architecture, and after that, we're not limited to, architecture and design. We've had Nuke talking about crypto, 3D printing, concrete molds, artificial intelligence, AI in architecture, more 3D printing, neurology. So these, for those that don't know, this is Dr. James Gathes and Dr. Omar, and they presented about neuroscience in this stage, talking about the gap of medical education and how virtual spaces could actually help people learn these complex things. Imagine that in a university learning medicine, people are looking at PowerPoints with x-rays of something that is so complex, like bones and ligaments. And the ability of showing bones and ligaments in 3D, it's a game changer. So they talked about that, and that even inspired its own parallel project called In Virtual. And if you guys haven't heard about it, super cool. The same as Dive Lives, there are presentations every week with different doctors talking about their own procedures in a virtual lab that we designed, Sunken Blimp designed for them. So pretty cool project, and I recommend checking out. And so on, right? There's so many ones. And because these were all 3D presentations, what we started doing is putting within this gallery the actual space where some of these presentations took place. So if you like to check out some of the presentations, the work that was displayed, if you check here in some of these flyers, we put a couple of them with some portals that you could actually click on. You don't have to do it now, right? Otherwise, we're gonna lose everyone. But afterwards, you can check out, for example, Crisia, she 3D prints fashion, right? So she showed her whole process, her whole life through a selection of videos and different 3D models of what she's doing with her, with her company in the virtual stage. So now we have there the template, and you can visit, this old presentation, the documentation of that. We've had here George Gida doing artificial intelligence in architecture. He's a professor at Harvard and MIT, yo. Like, I don't know if you guys consider that a big deal, but for us to get, such a renowned professor on stage talking about such a important topic of the future of architecture and all, showing his 3D models, also recommend checking it out. We've had Jake from Spatial itself talking about how it is to design for Web3 environments. And we did a space hopping dive live. So we positioned a bunch of portals inside the stage, and Jake took us on a tour through a couple of his favorite spaces on Spatial. A couple more. If you're into comedy graphics from the 2000s and depression, you would probably like the presentation of Kat Frazier. She presented her work with early 2000 graphics, talking about comedy in a way, but it's a very, very nice twist to art. Her own art is very fascinating, and so on, right? So far, I think our oldest, well, our speaker with the most amount of age, Neil Leach, he actually came to the stage twice already, talking about artificial intelligence and his predictions for the future of humanity, which is fucking sick. And it was fascinating. So yeah, it was nice to kind of walk you guys through this. And then throughout all of these presentations, thank you very much. Throughout all of these presentations, even if you check the portals later, you're going to see that the space was very, very different. The Sunken Blimp has gone through a lot of changes in the stage since we started. And now if you guys want to follow me to the other wing, I'll call this the west wing? No, east wing. It's, you guys don't need directions, like here. This is where we started. This was the very first version of the model, with inspiration on like animals and nature, stingrays and whales, done in the end of December 2021. So this is kind of like how we started. And when we first got in VR, it was terrible, right? Like claustrophobic. The materials were just, too much blue and weirdness. The steps, there was no connection between the ramp and the steps, and we kind of did something to get started and keep it running. But at the same time, every time we hosted an event, every time we brought new people in, our focus was to watch how people walk in that space. Where do people stay whenever they're just stand by, sitting, watching the presentation? Do they have selected spaces? And because we're recording and keeping that data, this is something that is really cool to keep track and really update the space as the community needs something else. So eventually we updated to this stage, which had a lower kind of lounge, and then a space, a portal holder in a way, right, in the shape of a pearl holder, almost like a clam under the sea. And then the space was bigger, there was more room, some seating around. And then we started to understand that whenever we brought speakers in, they were not presenting only PowerPoints in the center of the stage, but we're spreading images, videos, 3D models all around. So the center was not, the focus was not in the center, which we originally intended it to be, but the whole space was utilized. So then the next update, we actually increased this lounge area in the bottom, added some stairs for more ways of reaching the top. And then instead of seats, we included these pedestals so we could place different 3D models and different images all around the space and create almost like a landscape that a speaker could choose how to present. And we kept this stage for a very long time because it was somewhat successful in the distribution. And then we started figuring out a couple of issues, like the angles everywhere. Every time we placed something, it was kind of going into the model, and people were slanted watching the presentation, falling down. So then we started, experimenting with different ways. And then we got to the actual shape of the current stage, which I would not like to say that it's the final stage, because this is a never-ending thing. And this is the perfect difference between a physical and a virtual space, is because this is always interchangeable. We can always listen to the community, change the space, and you try building a physical stage and modifying it later. It's a pain in the ass. So then we did this stage for the gallery, the creative AI gallery that we did. And then I did it because it's huge. But after this platform, there was a huge maze. Like Cav was here. I know Cav was here. You participated on the maze. Some other people that are here also. and people had to go into the maze and find the different images, bring them back to the activity, and it was pretty cool. And then now, kicking off the Biophilia series, we have the current stage, which takes a turn into more of a nighttime gallery setting, since we are meeting at 7 p.m. Eastern time, at least for us. Something that resonates more with the circadian lighting of the time that most of us are, communicating from, but also, including some of the elements of, wood and different plants, vegetation, although it's minimal, right? We don't want to go over the top, biophilia covered with plants, because it's way more than that. It's not only about covering a room with plants, and you guys are going to hear all about it during the different presentations. And then we included Ray, and I recommend, if you guys would like to try writing Ray, there's a specific spot on the corner that side that he gets lower enough like that you could try clicking on top of him and riding him around like the magic carpet ride from Aladdin. It's pretty fun, but yeah, don't do it in VR, you might get dizzy. And yeah, this is a little bit of the updates on the stage itself, and ongoing. And whenever you guys have comments, if you realize something is not really working, or you wish that there was another ramp somewhere, let us know. This is an open community, and if you guys are not on Discord, I recommend you guys getting on Discord, talking to us, because anyone can make suggestions, anyone can request a different speaker. Let's say you want to get Doja Cat on stage. That's gonna be hard as fuck. But we can try, if someone from the audience wants to see a specific type of knowledge, we can always try to bring it. And with that said, something that was requested and highly talked upon was biophilia. So I would like to actually introduce the speakers of this month. And here, amongst these two plants that are very low poly, I would like to introduce who is going to be here throughout the month of what month are we on? October and the beginning of November. So today we're doing the kickoff event, right, which is where you guys are now. And then on the 12th next week, we're going to have Elizabeth Calabresa. So Elizabeth, wait 1 second. All right, so Elizabeth, she co-wrote a book on biophilic design, which is extremely important. It's one of the main literature on the topic. And she's going to be having a presentation, which I don't want to spoil, but about the different elements that make biophilic design a thing. I really want to spoil, but I don't want to. It's going to be amazing, and she's working with her hands on some of the assets that are going to be on stage. So I definitely recommend you guys checking it out. She will be officially the second oldest person on stage, which is not a limitation. She was so excited to be in VR and presenting this. Honestly, it's going to be super awesome. After that, we're going to have Sofia Perales. So Sofia, for those that don't know, is Sofia here? I don't think she's here anymore. But for those that don't know, she is she's a student from Mexico that is now in Spain doing her PhD in material studies and material sciences. And she's experimenting with different ways of constructing form, geometry, and shapes, using a bunch of cool stuff like eggshells. And she has a presence on TikTok and some videos that are awesome of her experiments. And she's going to be talking about her experiments with materials here. And then after that, we're going to have Bill Browning. Bill Browning is also a professor. He's a professor, sheesh, I forgot the name of the university, but sorry, I have a cough if you guys haven't noticed my voice. But Bill Browning is going to be talking about different scales in an actual construction space. He's going to be showing 3 different models and 3 different projects by Frank Lloyd Wright, who is a famous architect from the USA, and he's going to be showing elements of biophilia in those 3 models. And kind of disrupting this idea that biophilia has to be only dealing with plants, but it's more the use of natural materials, nature, etc. And then after that, we're gonna have Tim Beasley, who is a professor at University of Virginia, which is an amazing university. And he's going to be looking at a different scale, more the urban scale, right? The fabric, what makes cities a thing, the commute from one place to another, how biophilia in that sense impact us as human beings, which is fascinating. And people that are not even into the world of design, architecture, whatever field you're in, right? These topics, they affect the way we live as humans on this planet. So the idea of having these introduction presentations that are 20 to 30 minutes, we're not going to go in depth about beams and construction techniques. These are introduction elements that anyone can benefit from, learn, grow, and become, better at a topic. And by the way, you're in VR, or virtual spaces, so it's different ways of learning something new. And then, last but not least, we're gonna get Mamoon on stage, and Mamoon, he works at Terraform. If you guys don't know what Terraform, okay, let's go, because Terraform is an awesome company. They're based in New York, in Brooklyn, in the space called the Brooklyn Navy Yard. And it's this huge warehouse devoted for different creators and startups that are developing technology in all sorts of fields. And Mamoon is actually going to be showing some of the projects he's been working on that takes years. Like, we're talking about decades to build, because he's actually building with trees. He is growing different trees to grow structures and banding the trees as they grow to generate different types of housing and It's honestly mind-blowing. I kid you not. He's also, has a presence on TikTok and Instagram. So if you guys want to check out before the presentation even, feel free. But these are all amazing presentations. I'm so excited. So in name of all the speakers, I would like us to, a round of applause for this series, because it's going to be pretty awesome. All right. Does anyone have any questions regarding, the series or the different dive labs we've had before? Anything at all? All right. So I would like to mention to you guys, for those that have been coming to dive labs before, we used to have a way of registering for them. We used to have a way of registering for them with a type form, right? So you put in your name, your address, not your name, your information, and you receive a ticket, right? An email to come in. But now we recently did a new way that we're experimenting through Eventbrite. Wait, let me get a cup of water, guys, real quick. I'm so sorry. All right. So now we're doing the registrations through Eventbrite. So yeah, all good. I'm not dying. All the registrations through Eventbrite. So if you guys see on our social media or on Discord, you can register them to any of these. It's completely free, by the way. It's an open source type of presentation and open for anyone that is interested. You can register to any one of those. If you guys have any questions or issues with registration, let us know. But we would like you guys to register ahead of time so we have an idea of how many people are coming. We do have a limitation on stage of up to 50 people. So whenever you guys don't register, it just gets into that thing of like, we don't know how many people are coming, how to accommodate all of that. But, whatever is to interest to you, feel free to do so. Register. Let people know, if you're part of a class or if you know people that could benefit from this. This is open stuff that our awesome community is doing for everyone, and all we would like is engagement in a way. Bring more people. If you have a Tinder match, be like, hey, want to meet up in a VR presentation tonight? What's wrong with that? It's different. Probably no one has ever asked that person that before, and honestly, enjoy, because I personally think this is pretty awesome. And when I was in college, I thought hey, why no one is doing something like this? There's different types of, YouTube live streams, all of that you can get knowledge, but this is a social knowledge sharing, opportunity and networking. I met Kev. here on the stage, and now we've had like awesome conversations, and he's doing pretty amazing work. And you know, I get happy whenever I see his face here, even though it's like his virtual face. You know, I met Yuki the other day, and I saw that you got here, Yuki. Hello. Yesterday I was like setting up the stage, and Yuki showed up, so we sat down in the Vasily chairs up there, and we had like a cool conversation about like virtual design. So this is a cool space, and you know, I like seeing you guys here. I definitely recognize some other names that are coming back. Hey James, how's it going? This is Dr. James, ladies and gentlemen. Hello. Dr. James got this from in virtual. And
thank you. Matthias, the stage looks absolutely stunning, man. Well done.
Thank you. Thank you, man. Did you see Ray the Stingray?
I was chasing him around for the last 5 minutes.
Nice. We're gonna do some stuff like that in the virtual lab next. And yeah, guys, so I really appreciate you guys coming out. Make sure that you hit the little like button, the heart button on the space, because it makes a really cute animation and it explodes. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? So yeah, so thank you so much again, everyone. Feel free to hang around, walk around. And starting next week, we're going to have the very first presentation with Elizabeth. So make sure you sign up, you know, talk about it, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye, everyone, and fly deep.
Gracias.
De nada. My Spanish is very limited, but I get that.
Matthias, I really love what you've done with the stage. Absolutely.